For more on the Turkish referendum and how it could impact the country's future, we're joined now by Ahmet Berat Conkar. He's a member of the Turkish Parliament and Deputy of the Justice and Development Party, known as the AK Parti. Berat, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So this referendum could lead to significant changes, far-reaching changes in Turkey. It would change the country from a parliamentary republic to a presidential republic. It would also give the president sweeping new powers. Why the changes?
Of course, we would like to have our democratic system to be more institutionalized, because Turkey had gone through military coup d'etats, especially in 1960 and 1980. The current parliamentary system is designed as a hybrid system where the military tutelage or the military control is still effective on the parliament. So we would like to make our constitution more democratically stronger, so that the will of our people will be reflected in governing our country in a much better way. The executive presidency also will provide us the conditions that the executive branch of the government will be managed by the president and the cabinet, and there would not be two different powers who may get into conflict to each other as the prime minister and the president. Because in the past we had experienced a lot of crises, a lot of tensions between the presidents and the prime ministers, because the current system gives a lot of power to the president, which is directly elected by the people, and the prime minister is also directly elected by the people. So we would like to combine these two positions under the presidential cabinet and have a more effective and more efficient rule of our system.
Okay, you say the goal is to make the country democratically stronger, but as you are aware, there's been very fierce criticism of these proposals that are going to be put to the people in this referendum. It could, as Britain's Daily Telegraph newspaper says, lead to one-man rule and very little accountability. There'll be too much power concentrated in one man's hands.
Actually, these kind of comments are not really realistic, and they are unfounded, because with the current changes to this constitution, we are making our parliament stronger. We are, for the first time, giving the parliament to investigate, the powers to investigate the president and the cabinet, because in the current system, the president cannot be investigated or sent to the court. So with the changes in this referendum, we will make sure that the president and his cabinet will be responsible in front of the parliament, and if need be, the parliament would be able to take the president and the cabinet members to the constitutional court for the trial. So there is this democratic check and balance system which will make our country much more democratic.
Well, you know, one argument being made is that there is nothing inherently wrong with a presidential system, but it has to be accompanied by proper checks, strong checks and balances. But let's take a look at Turkey right now. 140,000 people arrested or dismissed since the coup last year. Turkey is 151 out of 180 countries on the Press Freedom Index. That's an index put together by the organization Reporters Without Borders. That's led the opposition, the Republican Party, the People's Party, to say that these changes would, quote, entrench dictatorship. So, whereas I hear what you're saying, the opposition is saying it's not taking place under normal circumstances.
Actually, if you look at the situation, after the coup attempt, we are basically trying to clean our system from these tutelage powers, from these criminal gangs or criminal organizations who are in the state apparatus. So basically the FETÖ organization for maybe more than 40, 45 years, has organized itself in a secret agenda to control all the state apparatus. So they have put their people into military, to the police, to the different institutions, strategic institutions, as well as some journalistic positions as well. So this organization, as we call FETÖ, is a very widespread organization. It's not only limited to the state institutions. So after the coup attempt, we had very strong evidence on their secret organization. And we have been able to find out the scheme, the structure of the organization, and we were able to basically clean up our system from these criminals. And it is done by the Turkish constitution and the Turkish legislation. The codes, the laws are applied. We are part of the European system for the international commitments, and we are doing whatever we are doing under these circumstances. So if there is a terrorist organization, and if there are people affiliated with this terrorist organization which is trying to harm this country, it is our right to defend our country under the rule of law against these kind of very dangerous organizations.
Okay, you point out that Turkey is part of the European system, as you say, insofar as its international commitments are concerned. As you are aware, much of the criticism of these proposed changes that Turkey is proposing has come from Europe. In fact, the President Erdogan, has criticized the Netherlands and Germany for banning his ministers from speaking at rallies for Turkish voters abroad. Let's take a listen to what the President had to say. Let's watch this.
Turkey is a de facto European country. The problem is that Europe doesn't want to see us as one of them. Those who grant free travel to countries on the other side of the world keep Turkey waiting at the door after stalling us for the past half-century. As we have been stalled off, which of the countries who have joined the bloc are in better shape than Turkey in terms of democracy and the economy? Are there different criteria for them than for us? It seems that there are.
So listening to the President there, what do you think is going to be the impact of this referendum on Turkey's bid to become part of the European Union?
First of all, as the chairman of the Joint Parliamentary Committee with European Union, with European Parliament, I can very clearly say this. Turkey has been doing all of its work for the accession negotiations for European Union. But there is a political decision from the European side to block these negotiations. So it's not moving anywhere right now. On top of this, unfortunately, we have seen that some European countries actually did not abide by their values, European democratic values, freedom of speech, freedom of propaganda, freedom of gathering, and they basically blocked our campaign where we would be able to meet our people and explain them about the constitutional changes. They have done very unethical and unlawful acts against our minister and as well as our consul general, which are against international law. So European Union has to make a decision if they will be continuing to be abide by these values or not. If they are not going to support the democracy, if they are not going to basically stop supporting some terrorist organizations, providing ground to some terrorist organizations in their countries, this will affect Turkey's relationship with the European Union and European countries. But after the referendum, we will be making a decision. We will talk to our European partners. We will tell to them, if we are going to continue in this way, let's discuss the issues in front of us and make concrete decisions. There is issue of visa-free travel. There is an issue of the immigrants from Syria. There is a lot of responsibilities that the European Union should basically deliver. So we will talk with them and we will understand their position and we will make a decision about how we will proceed about European Union accession negotiations for Turkey.
Okay, Ahmet Berat Conkar, thank you for joining us, sir. And we are going to take a break right now. More of our conversation about Turkey's referendum right after that. Stay with us, you're watching The Heat.